anniversary, right? Celebrate mo yung yearly, may special na mo celebrate ng 20, 25, 30, 35, 50 years. Now I ask them, anong sineselebrate ninyo? Is it the number of years? Okay? Or are you celebrating the quality of being together? If it's just the number that we celebrate sa anniversary natin, walang pinagkaiba yan sa preso. Parang sabihin mo sa preso, sa kapwa mo preso, pare, mag-celebrate tayo, 30 taon na tayo nakakulong. Imagine, magse-celebrate ka ng anniversary, pero hindi kayo literally okay mag-asawa. Nagse-celebrate tayo ng anniversary, lagi tayo nag-aaway mag-asawa. Nagse-celebrate tayo ng anniversary natin na alam natin, yung asawa natin may ginagawang kalokohan. So somehow, ang practice natin by tradition, masama i-celebrate lang natin at makita ng mga kaibigan natin na magkasama at nagse-celebrate pa tayo, ayos na. Okay? Because the number of years without quality is agony. It's actually misery. Now, let's learn from this story. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the story of the Samaritan woman and si Jesus. Okay? Ano nangyari ngayon sa kanila? Historically, during that time, ang mga Jewish people, ang Jews, they hated the Samaritans. Ang tawag nila, mga mixed race, hilaw kayo. Okay? So they hated each other. And this is something na will help us understand na si Christ, okay, ang love niya, walang partiality. Okay? And si Christ, ano man ang estado mo sa buhay, kinamumuhian ka man ng ibang tao, He will intentionally pursue you. Ano yan? He will intentionally pursue you. Okay? Now, ano yung nangyari sa kanilang conversation? This is a wonderful story, by the way. Tingnan ninyo, and then Jesus, yung Samaritan woman, yung nangyari, yung scene, it happened doon sa may well. Ano bang meron sa well? Tubig. Okay, tubig. So ngayon, ang galing ni Christ. Kasi yung conversation niya, pinocus doon sa kung ano meron. Kung anong evident. Okay? And kung anong relevant. Sabi ni Christ, Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will be what?
Thirsty.
Will be thirsty again. Obviously, sinasabi ni Christ, you are here, okay, to get some water. You know why? Because that's what you call felt need. Tama? Meron tayong mga different felt needs. Pagkain, para mabusog ka. Tubig, para ma-quench yung iyong thirst. But somehow, sinasabi ni Christ, yung iyong purpose for getting this water is to somehow quench your temporary need, which is the felt need. Naintindihan natin yan. Now, tignan niyo yung next conversation. But in verse 14, nag-shift siya from the physical water, felt need. But whoever drinks the what?
Water I give.
The water then that I give them will never what? Will never thirst. Sabi niya that physical water is your felt need, temporary. You will thirst again. But if you will receive this water that I will offer you, which is Jesus Himself, the living water, sabi niya, you will thirst no more. Now, tingnan niyo na yan. Indeed, sabi niya, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to what? Eternal life. Then, shift na naman sa another felt need. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water so that I won't what? Get thirsty. What can we now realize from the Samaritan woman? That she is in need of something. She thirsts for something. She is in pursuit of something. Tama? Pareho din natin yan. Kaya nangyari yan. Now, I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water. What is she trying to tell Jesus? Nakakapagod. Tama ba yun? Nakakapagod. Marami bang mga taong gano'n, yung feeling mo, pagod ka na sa buhay. Pagod na pagod kang magtrabaho, pagod na pagod ka mag-alaga ng anak, pagod ka na sa sitwasyon ninyo mag-asawa, pagod ka na sa problema. You know why? Because somehow, yung challenges ng buhay, ang tendency is to overwhelm us. And I'm telling you, marami sa atin ang ganda ng buhok ngayon, maayos ang damit ngayon, maganda ang pagkaka-makeup. Tingnan niyo mabuti ang katabi niyo. Tingnan niyo mabuti ang katabi niyo. Mukha bang may problema?
Wala.
Mukha bang may problema?
Wala.
Okay? Mukha lang may utang. Mukha tayo may utang. Pero sa totoo lang, hindi natin pinapakita sa madlang people na meron tayong problema. You know why? Somehow, medyo may pagka-pretentious ang tao. Hindi mo naman ipobroadcast yung pinagdaanan mo. Uy, alam mo, nag-away kami mag-asawa. Uy, alam mo, nag-away kami. Uy, alam mo, may problema. Walang ganon. Eto nangyari sa ibang mga tao. Eh, mga may asawa, taas ang kamay. Mga may asawa. Ayan. Meron ba kayong pinagdaanan, may mga pinagdadaanan mo tayong problema sa relationship sa bahay? Yes. Minsan sa asawa, minsan sa anak. Okay? And I praise God kung wala ka pang pinagdadaanan. But surely, meron kang pagdadaanan in the future. Ano nangyari ngayon sa iba? Meron mga babae ganito, Mrs. Nag-away silang mag-asawa dahil na-discover niya pala na yung asawa niya merong iba. Masarap bang pakinggan yan? Masarap bang balita yun? Of course not. Very devastating. So ano mangyayari yan? Mag-aaway sila mag-asawa. Paano mo nagawa sa akin? After all these years, binigay ko ang buhay ko sa'yo. Lahat binigay ko para sa'yo. Tapos ano kayo mo naman? Yan ang mga conversation ng mga mag-asawa, hindi ba? Pag nahuli, di ba sa yan, mga ganyan. Ano nangyari yan? Hindi ka nakatulog. Wala kang tulog. Ang sakit na ng ulo mo, masakit pa puso mo, pero kailangan ka magtrabaho. May appointment ka. Okay? Maliligo ka ngayon. Ligo ka, hindi ba? Umiyak ka. Gabi, tulog ka, hanggang kinabukasan. Di ba wala kang tulog? Hanggang kinabukasan. Kung wala ka ng appointment, magharap ka ngayon sa lumin. Diba? Kaya na may kausap ka eh. May kausap ka eh. Anong gagawin mo ngayon? Tingin ka sa salamin. Sabi mo sa salamin yan, ha? Kaya mo yan, te. Kaya mo yan, te. Kaya mo yan. Chillax, 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 chillax. Mamaya mo na harapin. Paglabas mo, normal ka ulit. Okay? Paglabas mo ng bahay, sino yung pinagdaanan mo, ha? Paglabas mo ng bahay, hi, good morning, Mom! Wow, Mom, you look so pretty today. Tanongin ka na kausap mo, uy talaga, ikaw din, you look so pretty also. How are you? Me? I'm okay! Hindi ba? You know why? May mga kaganapan sa buhay natin na sadyang nakakapagod. And I'm telling you, there are times, kagaya ng batang tumalan sa trinoma, there are times that we feel like giving up already. Trabaho, relationship, sometimes sa buhay. Sometimes sa buhay. That's why, Theo, sabi niya, and have to keep coming here to draw water. As if it's just trying to tell you, nakakapagod. But if you'll give me that, somehow, di ba, hindi na magiging paulit-ulit ang senaryo sa aking buhay. That is why, ang galing nung ginawa ni Christ. Sabi niya, I have no husband. Ano sabi ni Christ? Sabi niya, go, kay his daughter, go call your husband and come back. Ano sabi ni Christ? Go what? Okay, tingnan niya, oh, I have no what? I have no husband. She replied, Jesus said to her, you are what? You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is that you have had how many husbands? 5 husbands. What is this story and passage trying to tell us? Jesus is constantly pursuing us. Jesus is offering us that living water that will literally quench our thirst forever. Okay? And this is something na kinakailangan natin makita. Jesus knows everything about us. Wala tayong maitatago sa Panginoon. That's why sabi niya, you're right. You have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true. Because you know why? This woman, all her life, is in pursuit of relationship. This woman thirsts for love. Ano yan? And somehow, yan yung gusto makita natin, makita ng Panginoon natin na makita natin, na gusto ng Panginoon. We have to, as we do self-evaluation and processing, yung bang mga hinahabol natin sa buhay, is it felt need or is it the real need? Will that literally satisfy us or temporarily, di ba? Temporarily it gives us pleasure or happiness, but at the end of the day, we will end up lonely, miserable, and it will cause us to self-destruct. So I would like to call on my wife Dawn, okay, to share with you our journey of Hanggang Kailan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Dawn, and just like what my husband said, we've been married for 29 years. But you see, 29 is just a number. And going through 29 years was really not easy. Some of you know our story already, but for the others who don't, just want to give you a background. My husband and I, we met when we were in our teen-age years. In fact, we were neighbors, and I met him when I was 13 years old. Yeah, wow. 13. So, since he was very new in our neighborhood, the first time I saw him, sabi ko, guwapo, diba? Ito na yung felt need. I had a longing for love, and so I saw this guy who's really guwapo, so I said, may crush ko siya. Lo and behold, I found out that all the other girls in our community, crush din niya ako. So parang, maraming mas maganda dyan, pero okay, pwede na din. But, you know, to make a long story short, we became boyfriend and girlfriend at the age of 13. Shock si mother. Ako din na shock, eh lalo na po yung nanay ko, no? Diba? Well, kasi he told me that if I don't say yes the very moment he asked me, sabi niya, hindi mo na ako makikita. So sabi ko, felt need. I wanted love, I had a longing for love, and so I wanted to nurture and feel this love. And so I said yes, immediately. Wala pang isang oras. Until, you know, I realized it was the start of a self-destruction in my life. So what happened was, you know, I got to know him as we went along the relationship, and I discovered who he was. So it was really a blinded kind of love. So I was so in love with a guy who was into a lot of vices. Meaning, he was already smoking that time. He started to smoke at the age of 9 actually. So smoker, heavy smoker na siya. He drinks almost every night. 13 years old po yun. 9, he started smoking. 11, he started taking marijuana. He started 13, he started taking cough syrup and tablets. Wala pa pong ecstasy noon, pero yung siya, nagta-tablets na siya. Mga Urquico, ganyan. So, and sobra siyang mabarkada. Aside from that, he had a very bad temper. So he would always be involved in fist fights, mga gang wars, mga ganyan. So nakita ko lahat yun. But, as if, okay lang. So we went on in the relationship, but, of course, I had to keep it from my parents. So, may malalaman sila, but, you know, sabi ko, hindi kami, ganyan. Pero, syempre tinatago. I would be very good in lying. So, of course, I wanted to protect him. And aside from that, he also, we were in high school, pero siya, wala siyang hilig sa pag-aaral. Why? Because mas importante sa kanya friends. He would be kicked out of the school. Every year, sabi ko nga, yung uniform niya, iba-iba yung kulay every year. Tapos, he would be in and out of school, he would be in and out of jail. Kasi nga, napapaaway siya palagi. And, nakaka-relate. Classmate daw sila eh. Classmate daw sila. Yeah. So, you know, of course, I was really trying to feel the longing for love, but I was finding it in the wrong place, in the wrong person that time. So sabi ko, okay, tuloy lang yan, until, at the age of, hindi lang, kumbaga, that was a long list already, right? Pero, minor pa po yun. Let's go to the major ones. So when he was 17, we were still boyfriend and girlfriend. 17, he was already involved in a murder case. Yeah, so, may sinaksak siya. Huwag na natin ano yung details, no? Sige, sinaksak siya since juvenile, hindi na pursue yung case. 17, he was already involved in a gang rape. He was in a tabloid, front page of a tabloid. He initiated a gang rape. And then, 17 also, he had a carnapping and robbery incident. So he was jailed in San Juan. Pero napalabas din siya kasi because of connections. 17 also, he was, that time, medyo na-introduce na yung shabu. So dating marijuana user, he shifted to shabu. He became a shabu addict for 15 long years. So, hinga muna na. Ang dami na humihinga. Buntong hininga. Okay. 17, that was 17. Did I stop the relationship? Hindi pa rin. Continue pa din. So what happened to me was, because I still chose to continue the relationship, even if I knew all those things. So, guess what happened to me at the age of 18?
Pregnant.
Yeah, I got pregnant. So, 18, I got pregnant. I tried to remove the baby, pero sabi ko, nakatakot ako kay Lord. And I tried to keep it from my parents, pero syempre, pag lumalaki na siya mo, hindi mo na siya matatakot. So, I told my parents about it when I was already 6 months pregnant. His parents went to our house. My parents said, no marriage. Mag-live-in muna kayo. Kasi at the back of their minds, ayaw talaga sa kanya. Eh, sino nga naman magkakagusto sa kanya, di ba? So, both our parents agreed we will just live in and we'll see if it will work out. So, after his parents went to our house the following day, I transferred to the house. But since we were neighbors, we were like 5 houses away to each other. So ako naman, di ba, parang so excited, okay, lipat na. Dala ko yung mga gamit ko and everything. I was so excited to be with the man I was so in love with. But you see, di pa ako nanganganak, right? So 6 months, going 7 months, Of course, first few months we were enjoying until, I discovered something. Hindi pa po ako nanganganak. Parang teleserye, di ba yung natutulog ka na madaling araw, pagising mo, ay, wala siya sa tabi mo. So bumaba ako ng kwarto, pagkita ko, ayun, nasa landline. Madaling araw. May landline. Landline. So, I asked him, sino kausap mo? Hindi pa ako nanganganak, may babae na agad. Di ba? Umamin ba? Hindi. Mga lalaki, hindi umaamin.
Deny until you die.
Yeah, deny until you die. Correct. So, very good in denying, but still, okay, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Until, okay, continue with the live-in relationship, and I gave birth to our eldest son. I thought he was gonna change because he's gonna be a father. But, he became worse. He became more addicted. He was always out of the house with his friends, with all his vices and everything. And, to make matters worse, he got into relationships one after the other. And of all the relationships he had, there was this one girl who was really the most painful for me. Kasi yung ibang relationship niya, when he was involved with girls, yung iba, kakilala ko. In fact, yung isa, neighbor namin. Na, kumari ko siya. Na, I was so close to her. Hindi ba, we would meet in her house, siya tambayan namin yung bahay niya. So pag medyo gumagabi na, sabihin niya sa akin, gabi na uwi ka na, meron pa tayo doon, alagaan mo yan. Sabi ko, okay, hatid na ako. Pero babalik siya kay kumari. Tapos sila ni kumari. Tapos, meron pang, who was our common friend, na parang one time we had a fight, nalasing kami pareho, nagalit siya sa akin kasi nalasing ako, sinampal niya ako, tumawad itong friend na to. Okay? Not knowing, magka-live-in pala sila ng mga panahon na yun. So parang ako naman alam, ganyan. You know, and his usual routines was, if you ask him, pag pinamamuli ka, hindi yan aamin. Aamin yan after, kasi tapos na. Dahil may bago. Hindi mo mahuhuli yung bago. Diba? So, ganun yung routine. Okay? The style, yes. And then, you know, until there was this one girl who, you know, when we were, actually she came when we were already married. So, after 5 years of living together, we got married. And this was the time that, you know, I was really very miserable. And, you know, I grew up very religious. I would be in Catholic churches every day. Would pray the rosary almost every day. Basta I would do everything. I was very prayerful, but you see, I felt that there was something lacking. And so when I was in a very miserable situation, I said, Lord, I want to know you more. Will you help me in the situation that I am in now? Until, you know, I had a sister-in-law who was attending CCF. And then she was going to give her testimony that time, I remember. And sabi niya, sama naman kayo to support me. So we all went. In fact, he also went there. And that was the time that, you know, I came there with a very heavy heart, a heavy burden on my shoulders. Kasi ano na eh, grabe yung relationship namin. And it's very problematic. Ang buhay ko noon was every day I would cry and beg him to change, beg him to give up all the girls and all the vices, pero hindi na yun ginagawa. And so, I had nowhere to go but to God. And so, true enough, when I went to God, that very day I went to CCF. And I was crying. Pag rinig ko pala ng praise songs, I was really crying. And then the pastor gave a very beautiful message until the pastor prayed a very beautiful prayer. And that prayer, I realized, you know, it led me towards accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And that was the most wonderful decision I ever made in my life. Why? It changed. It changed about, you know, how I perceived life to be, how I handled my situation. But you see, more importantly, I felt the love that I was actually searching for. And that love that, you know, comes only from the Lord Jesus. And so when I felt and I received that love, I now have that love to give away to my partner. Okay? So anong nangyari? Nung tinanggap ko yung Panginoong Jesus, umuwi ako nung araw na yon, tinitingnan ko siya, aba ay mas lumalala pa. Pero, sabi ng Panginoon, hindi, ganito gawin mo, ganyan. So, you know, the more I read the Bible, I become more prayerful. That's when I realized, okay, so this is how I should handle my partner. Until I told him, you know, kakabasa ko ng Bible, na-discover ko, we're sinning because we're not married. So, sabi ko sa kanya, magpakasal tayo. Sabi niya, o sige, his motive was, he said yes because yung panganay namin, dahil 18 pa lang ako, kasi hindi siya under his surname, illegitimate. So, it's under his, not under his surname, under my surname. Sabi niya, sige, para maging Urquico na siya. And so, that was his motive, but my motive was, you know, to make it right in the eyes of God. So, long story short, we got married through a Christian wedding. The night before we got married, that's where he confessed lahat ng mga naging babae niya. Thinking, wow, actually, nung night ng wedding, nakashabu pa siya. Oo, high na high.
Para gising.
Oo, para gising actually. Diba? Baka magbago kasi yung isip. So, I was thinking after we got married, magbabago. We had counseling and everything. But you know what happened? He became worse. Dati, ang babae niya, one after the other. But you know, after we got married, yung mga babae niya, 2 or 3 na at the same time. Okay? 2 or 3 at the same time. So, tapos, mas lalo siyang naging sa shabu. Mas lalong nalulong sa shabu. And then, of all the relationships, and then there's one relationship which was actually the most painful for me. Most painful because yung iba natatago, but for this one, I would hear everything, see everything. He would tell me things. And that's what's painful about it. And then, sabi ko sa kanya, nahuli ko yan, syempre dati may cellphone na eh. Pero ang cellphone before, call and text lang. So when I found out about, there's this certain Michelle. May Michelle po ba dito? Meron? Don't worry, favorite ko yung Michelle. He had 2 Michelles in his life.
Ay, dalawa rin sila.
Baka sila.
So sabi ko, kayo ba ni Michelle? Sabi niya, immediately for the first time, dati hindi maamin, di ba? For this one, immediately he said, yes, kami. Tapos, may follow-up question, sabi niya gano'n, okay lang ba sa'yo na antayin mong iwanan ko siya? Yeah. So, yes, after we got married. So, that was after 5 years of living together, we got married. So sabi ko sa kanya, syempre di ba parang, pag ikaw tinanong ng ganong tanong ng asawa mo, so payag ka ba?
Hindi.
Definitely hindi.
Alis sa balutan.
But, guess what was my answer? What was my answer?
Yes.
I said yes.
Martyr ka.
I said yes, thinking that, maybe just like the other relationships he had in the past, this too will come to an end. Sabi ko, Lord, I surrender my husband to you. So, sabi ko sa kanya, yes. Because I said yes, in the beginning, I would always ask, sino kasama mo, bakit ngayon ka lang? When I knew already who, tumigil na ako doon. Okay? Pero, ang ginawa ko, dahil alam ko na kung sino siya, hindi ko na siya tinatanong. Ang ginawa ko, pinaibigan ko si Michelle. Yeah, I would call her. Tatanungin ko si Michelle. Saan kayo? Alam mo, umuwi yung asawa ko kagabi. Sabi ko gano'n. Magkasama ba kayo? Kukwentuhan naman niya ako. Kaya, oo, magkasama kami. Napunta kami sa ganito, sa Baguio, yan, sa Bangis, Subic, may ganon. Or sa bar lang, ganyan. Basta she would tell me stories and I would listen to her for as long as I can. Inaway ko ba siya? Hindi ko siya inaway. Kasi sabi ko, Lord, ikaw bahala sa kanya. But I don't recommend for you to do that because it's really something very painful. I realize I've hurt a lot already. Maliwanag na, in love yung asawa ko. Kasi sabi ko sa kanya, ayaw mo ba maghanap ng single na lalaki? Sabi niya, mahal niya ako tsaka mahal ko siya. Nung narinig ko yon, tumigil na ako. Sabi ko, okay Lord, tama na to. Sobra ng sakit. Until, there were a lot of incidences. Sabi ko, Lord, okay, I just surrender my husband to you. And my husband's cellphone, medyo creative siya. Ang cellphone ng asawa ko, halimbawa, ito ang cellphone. Okay? Kasi doon walang camera. Pero, di ba nga call and text lang. Pero, yung cellphone ng asawa ko, may sticker nung babae, si Michelle. Diyan nung laki-laki. So, pag ginagamit mo yung cellphone, anong makikita mo? Yung likod. Di si Michelle, kitang-kita ko, di ba? Pero, did I ever remove the sticker, the picture? I never did. You know why? Sabi ko, even this one, Lord, I choose to forgive. I choose to surrender everything to God. Tinanggal ko ba yun? Tinapok ko ba yun? I never did. His wallet had all the pictures of the girl. Wala kaming picture, walang picture yung mga anak ko. Pag nakikita ko yun, tinatanggal ko pa. Hindi din. You know what I would do? I just pray over it. And there's this one unforgettable moment. While we were like inside the car. So sinasabi ko to, parang, kasi nag-uusap sila eh. Actually, I would always hear them talk. Pero every time they would talk, hindi ko yung pipigilan, hindi ko yung sabihin, tama na. Nakikinig lang ako. So while inside the car, so my husband is driving.
Narcissist talaga.
So, ako naman nakaupo lang. Yan. Sabi, tapos tumawag si girl. Okay, the girl asked this question. Sabi ni girl, katabi mo ba? So sabi ng mabait kong asawa, sabi niya, oo, katabi ko. Umupo lang. Nahiya siya sa akin.
Ay, nahiya ka lang! Nahiya ka lang! Nahiya ka lang!
Nahiya ka lang. Maririnig ka naman. I can hear the voice of the girl. Di ba gano'n naman sa pag-kotse ka, narinig mo yung kausap. So, and then my husband said, yeah, oo, katabi ko. Tapos sabi niya, gusto ko sabihin mo I love you. Gusto ko sabihin mo I love you. You know what my husband did? Nahiya naman siya sa akin. Sabi niya, I love you. Pabulo. Sumunod. Sumunod naman. But you know, it did not stop there. Hindi siya tumigil. Sabi ng babae, gusto ko sabihin mo, I love you ng mas malakas. You know what my husband did? Sinabi niya talaga. Si Michelle pa rin. So sabi niya, I love you. May boses na. But it did stop there. Did it stop there? Hindi pa din. 3 times. And on the 3rd time, sabi niya, gusto kong pinakamalakas. Sinabi talaga ng asawa ko, I love you. Nang malakas na malakas. Kamusta naman ako nung time? And you know, of course I was crying, but I cannot cry in front of my husband. So what I did was, you know, I just faced the other way, looked at the window, and I just prayed to God. And I sang the song in my mind. I was singing the song, God will make a way. If you know the song, God will make a way. The song goes, God will make a way. When there seems to be no way, He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for us. So sabi ko, Lord, Ikaw bahala sa asawa ko. They were talking when I was crying. Did I tell my husband to stop? He did not stop. Inago ko ba yung phone? Hindi ko pa rin inago yung phone. So sabi ko, Lord, I give my pain to you. That very moment, I said, Lord, I still choose to forgive my husband because I love him with the love that comes from the Lord. Does he love me? Does he love me? Does my husband then? Of course, sinasabi na nga niyang love niya yung mistress niya, di ba? So it's like telling me I don't love you and I'm in love with her. But did I give up? I never did. I stayed in the marriage only because I know I have a very loving God. And so the relationship went on until, you know, my husband decided to leave me. That time we had 2 kids already. So we separated for 3 years. During the course of the separation, I prayed that the girl will not get pregnant. But she did. 2 times. Pero lahat naging miscarriage. And during the separation, my husband came to me one night and told me, I want to file for an annulment. So sabi ko, I don't like an annulment. Why? Because I'm praying for you. And I know God will bring you back to me. God will bring you back to us. So sabi ko sa kanya, I will wait. I will wait for you to come back. Sabi niya, hindi na ako babalik sa iyo kasi hindi na kita mahal. Palagi yun, palagi niya sinasabi yun. But, I never listened to whatever he was saying. Mas pinanghawakan ko yung alam ko ano ang kaya ng Panginoon. I have a very powerful God. I have a very loving and gracious God. And so, I focused on that. And I did not focus on my husband. Detach na lang.
Tapos si Pastor mamaya.
Patay ka.
Hindi ko nalalabas ng buhay.
Girl power yan, girl power.
They will gang up on you. Di ba nagbabawi naman ako? Pag natapos yung story ako, malalaman na siya. Okay, so what happened? So during the separation, so, it was very clear to me. God's message was, I just want to encourage all of you. I'm sure some of you are saying, laki na kasalanan ng asawa nyo, puro na, paulit-ulit na lang yung ginagawa niya. Maybe some of you are thinking, you've been in that situation for the longest time. Alam nyo, especially the wives who are here, tingnan nyo, sino mas mabait, asawa mo o siya? I'm sure sasabihin niyo mas mabait asawa niyo, di ba? But you know what? God works in ways we cannot see. He can make a miracle. He can change people, even the worst of all sinners. You know why? Because what happened was, when I prayed to God for God to change my husband, sabi ko, Lord, wala akong gagawin. Ikaw bahala. Dati, nagmamakaawa ko, di na ako sinusunod. So na-realize ko, change strategy. I'll do it, not my way, God's way. And so when I did it God's way, God told me, this is what you have to do. All you have to do is two things. To love unconditionally and to forgive every day. And that's what I did. During our separation, I prayed that, I will bring my husband to the Lord. So I would tell him, kahit sabihin niya ng mahal, sabihin ko sa kanya, I love you. And I forgive you every day. And then I waited for what God will do. True enough, one time, he came to our house dahil ayoko ng annulment. So si God yung kumuha ng paraan. Sabi ni God, sabi niya, kasi meron siyang, di ba pag nagda-drugs ka, may naririnig na boses. So may boses na nagsasabi sa kanya, para mapakasalan mo yung mistress mo, si Michelle, patayin mo na lang yung pamilya mo. Nakinig ba siya dun sa boses na yun? Nakinig siya dun. So pumunta siya sa bahay namin, marami siyang barel, all shapes and sizes. So he came to our house, mainit ulo niya, and then sabi niya gano'n, bang the door, and then he said, akyat kayo lahat sa kwarto. Siyempre, pag mainit na yung ulo at minsan lang pumupunta, susunod ka talaga sa kanya. So, I had two kids at the time. JV was like 8 years old and then Renzo was 7. So, 2 years old pala, 8 and 2. So, pagdating namin sa kwarto, my children had a collapsible tent. And so sabi niya, pasok kayo lahat sa tent, including me. And so ako, syempre, takot-takot that time. Nanginginig na ako sa takot. I knew something was gonna happen. So I went inside the tent, and when I got there, I was shaking in fear, and I decided to pray to God. Tapos nakita ko, kasi may screen yung tent eh, nakita ko talaga yung asawa ko, nakatutok na yung baril dun sa 2-year-old namin anak na lalaki. So, but God is amazing because when he was about to pull the trigger, you know what my 2-year-old son did? He was so happy, he laughed. He laughed joyously. Yung taong sobrang saya, kasi iniisip nila maglalaro kami. First time that it's gonna happen. So, nung tumawa siya, alam niyo, dapat kakalabitin na niya yung baril, yung gatilyo, para daw siyang nahimasmasan at nabuhusan ng malamig na tubig. So what happened was he left the room, went downstairs, left the house, sped off, and he had a car accident. Major car accident. So, yung car accident na yun, when somebody called me, Danny had a car accident, I went to where it was, kasi we lived in Cavite at the time. The accident happened in Xavierville. So parang mga 5 minutes pa lang siyang nakakaalis. So, in Xavierville, when I went there, I saw that the car was a total wreck. So, pinuntahan ko si Danny where he was. He was brought to World City. That was the nearest hospital there. So, when I went to the hospital, pagkita ko sa asawa ko, aba,
Buhay.
buhay na buhay. Sa kasamang palad. Galos lang sa tuhod. Sabi ko, ha? Eh parang patay yung itsura nung pipi-pipi yung kotse. But you know what was so painful about it? I went there because I wanted to take care of my husband. But you know what? He was searching for mission. So I was crying and I left the hospital. But still, I did not give up. I continued to wait and prayed, and this is now what happens. God was really at work. So one time, ginagawa niya yung, he's into construction, so ginawa niya yung resort ng family nila sa Batangas. And nalasing siya ng tanghaling tapat, nakaaway na yung kapitbahay nila, and inarmalite lang naman niya. Oo, inarmalite niya. So, mabuti na lang, walang tinamaan. But he was charged with frustrated homicide. Okay? Ngayon, syempre, magkakaroon na siya ng warrant of arrest. So, before the warrant of arrest was released, yung police, kasi marami silang kaibigan ng police, may nag-tip sa kanya from the police station in Batangas. Sabi niya, "Sir, kung ako sa inyo, bago lumabas yung warrant of arrest mo, pagtago ka na lang." Nakinig siya dun sa advice na yun. Usually, when he encounters a problem, ang tatawagan niya, yung tatay niya, who used to be an ex-convict also, he was jailed in Muntinlupa for 15 years, right? So, yun ang, kaya maraming connection si father-in-law. Pero, hindi niya tinawagan si father-in-law. Yung mga kaibigan, usually yan din ang takbuhan niya. But for this one, hulaan ninyo kung kanino siya humingi ng tulong. Yes, mother dear, sa akin, di ba? So for the first time, he called me. And so when he called me, syempre nagmamadali pa ako, di ba? Kasi yun nga yung inaantay ko yung ako yung maisip niya eh. So when I fetched him 12 midnight, we went home, isang sako ng baril yung dala namin. Na, kung kami na checkpoint, pati ako nakulong. Thank God for His protection. So he went home, his motive was magtago. But my motive was to win him to the Lord. During the time that we were separated, never ko siyang inaway. Never ko siyang sinumbatan. I never, told him, ganito ginawa mo sa akin, ganyan. Wala. All I would tell him was, I love you and I forgive you every day and I'm waiting for you. So when that time came, that he's now with me, of course, lahat ng pagsisilbi ginawa ko. Does he deserve it?
No.
No, he doesn't deserve it. But you know what? I did it for God. I look at him the way God sees him. That's why every day I would say, Lord, I choose to forgive this man. Because I know you love him too the way you love me. So true enough, alam niya, yung routine ko was work, Bible study, Sunday service, ganyan. Midweek Bible study. Until, syempre, minsan may kita ko siya malungkot, tahimik. Sabi ko sa kanya, bakit malungkot ka? Nabimiss mo ba si Michelle? Anong sagot?
Yes.
Syempre, sasabihin niya, yes. Pero, did I make away? Hindi ko pa rin inaway. Sabi ko, Lord, I will take this challenge. Continue winning my husband to the Lord. So, long story short, maya-maya sabi niya sa akin, kasi hindi siya lumalabas ng bahay kasi nagtatago, di ba? Pero sabi niya sa akin one time, sama ako sa'yo sa Bible study. Sabi ko, talaga? Okay, go. Di mabilis pa, di ba? Pero after Bible study, mamaliwa na yan, iinom, labas mo ko. Okay lang. So, basta sumasama. And then after that, sabi niya, sama ako sa'yo sa Sunday service. Sabi ko, wow, 2 points. May Sunday service na ngayon. Tapos, kaka-Sunday service, minsan, sabi niya, ayoko malit. Gusto ko maabutan yung praise and worship. So, maaga. Sabi ko, wow, improving. Yes. But, there is one prayer gathering I was attending. We call it CCF before the dawn watch. Where I leave the house at 5:30. Wala pang masyadong traffic noon. So, dumadating na ako sa St. Francis that time by 6 o'clock. So, what's the dawn watch? That's where, after a message from the pastor, kanya-kanyang prayer time. Nagulat ako kasi hindi naman siya gigising ng maaga eh. Kasi umuwi pa lang yan ng madaling araw, di ba? Pero sinabi niya sa akin, sama ako sa'yo sa Don't Watch. Sabi ko, sigurado ka? Sabi niya, oo, sama ako sa'yo. So he went to the Don't Watch with me. And you know that Don't Watch day, that started the major breakthrough in my life. You know what happened? After the pastor gave a message, the pastor said, let's shout to the Lord 3 times. Malakas na malakas. Lord! 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 He had goosebumps. And then after that, he observed the people. Anong ginawa nila? People started praying on their own. Some were sitting, some were standing, some were kneeling down. So sabi niya, sige, I will pray. Pero nakita niya, bakit ganun sila mag-pray? Malakas. Parang si Lord nandiyan lang sa harap niya. And so he started praying. But you know what? For somebody na mayabang, for somebody who's such a sinner, for somebody who's so selfish, you know, he started praying for the first time in his life. He prayed. Hindi siya nakaupo. Hindi siya nakatayo. He prayed nang nakaluhod. So sabi ko, Lord, this is it. This is now his humbling experience. And so when he started praying, kneeling down, I saw him crying. And then I was crying also. Sabi ko, Lord, this is now the answer to my prayer. And true enough, he confessed to God all his sins. Sabi niya sa Panginoon, Lord, pagod na ako. Tulungan mo ako. So he confessed all his anger to the Lord. Sinubog niya yung tatay niya, yung hurt niya sa tatay niya. And then after that Don't Watch day, he became a totally changed man. That day, di na siya nanigarilyo ulit. That day, di na siya uminom ulit. That very day, kasi siya, pag nagsalita po yan, every sentence, nagmumura ng PI.
Para sa Duterte.
Correct, gano'n. Pero, nawala lahat yun. Hindi na siya nagmura ulit. Yung init ng ulo, nawala na rin ulit yun. Tapos, you know what's so beautiful? Di ba palagi siyang lumalabas ng bahay? That very day, he didn't want to go out anymore. You know why? All he wanted was to just stay with me and my kids, to sing praise songs to God, to pray, to read the Bible. Di ba wala nga siyang hilig mag-aral? Pero, for some reason, bakit yung Bible gusto niyang patahin? Tapos, that day, you know, his friends wanted to invite him out. Ayaw na niya lumabas. So sabi ko, Lord, this is it. And then, ang pinakamaganda nun, di ba, ang problema ko yung pambababae niya. Alam niyo nung araw na yun, yung kanyang SIM card, SIM card. SIM card. I call it a SIM card. Pinutol na niya. So he had no more communication with the girl. So my question to you is, did I change my husband? No. Who did? God did. All I had to do was just love him unconditionally and to forgive him every day. Just like you, I'm also pursuing for love. But when I came to know the Lord, I found what true love is all about. And that is the kind of love that I was able to give to my husband. And you know what happened after that? He had the passion to really know the Lord, serve the Lord. That's why a few years after, he became a youth pastor. And then he became the pastor of CCF Taytay. And now, who would think that a sinner like him would become a pastor? And now we're planting churches. We're planting churches. We're counseling troubled couples. Because we want to share what God has done in my life, in our lives. Because it's not our story, it's God's story in us. And what I always say is, whatever happens, you never give up on your spouse. Because God never gave up on us. I suffered 10 long years. 10 long years of turmoil, waiting, crying, so much pain. But when God changed my husband, after 10 years, it has been 19 beautiful years of, beautiful marriage with my husband. Kaya yung, di ba, na-outnumber na yung 10, 19 na yung 19 na yung masasayang time. And our challenge to each other is, each year will be our best year. Each year is our best year. And I have never been so thankful to God how He changed my husband because, he turned out to be a very loving husband, caring husband. Kasi malambing. I'm in question and answer portion. Ayan, siya na po yung magkukwento niya. Siya na po yung
Sponsor kasi si Chef.
Nawala sa...
Yeah. Siya na po magkukwento niya.
Hindi bang ganun lang yun?
At saka kung ano nangyari sa mga cases po niya. Thank you.